Good evening, this is Todd Schultz, and this is my EDL 952, Module 5. The data from the articles and the case studies is definitely not as gloom and doom as I thought it would be. Going into this, I assumed that social media use, especially in teens, was the downfall of them, and they were all super depressed and all full of anxiety because of their overuse of social media. But actually, the data points in quite a different direction, that it has a lot of positive benefits for them and their social skills and their feelings of worth. And so I was really surprised to see some of that data point in that direction. The biggest eye-opener for me on the data was seeing how much of a percentage of ownership of smartphones we have, even going down 42% of fifth graders and almost 93% of eighth graders. And I'm sure it increases as they go on through high school. That was one of the biggest eye-opening facts for me. This is something that students definitely want, is more use of social media in their classrooms and in their lessons. We see the trends moving that kids want that, and that they do know more than teachers, and that they want the teachers to step up their game and use more positive interaction on social media for their classes. The breakdown of the rest of the surveys, the survey of the K-12 educators was very extensive, and it showed that 61% of the educators have joined a social media network, and that most of them use that for peer and family collaboration. A lot of those do use that for improving the school environment as well. The How Social Media is Reshaping Today's Education System article gave us the statistic that 96% who have internet access use at least one social media network. So we can see that the trend is that it's inevitable that kids are going to be using these, as well as parents and staff members. And that's what leads us into the next link, the Facebook fired link. That is something that as a district administrator, I'm going to have to be extremely knowledgeable and understanding the legalities behind, so I can direct my staff on how to better use their social media for positive interactions, because we do not want to get into a position where a staff member uses social media as a venting for something that happened at work, because we saw that there are several standing cases where teachers were actually fired because what they were posting was not protected under their First Amendment right, because it was more of a grievance about their job or their job conditions. It wasn't something for the public good, and that's kind of what got them in trouble. The demographics of the large study, the age range was 13 to 17. Just over half were male, 49% being female, 54% white, 23% Latino, 14% African American, 6% other, and 2% mixed race on the study participants. And the household incomes range from $25,000 up to $75,000 plus, being the largest of the categories. I spoke a little bit about the conclusions of the studies through those, and the big thing that I noticed was the strong increase in positive feelings about the use of social media from the the 6-year period from 2012 to 2018. And we only saw a very tiny, less than 5% increase in negative feelings of depression and loneliness. So that was something that I thought was very eye-opening and very positive as a school administrator, that this can be used for a positive thing. The one thing I like is that it had a increase in positive student use. 18% of students were less depressed over the 6-year period. So that's something that's a game changer when using social media in the right ways. The inappropriate use of social media is definitely something that I will need to know about, the legalities for my staff and teachers in the building, and also for my students and youth using that at school and also away from school. That's something that I'm going to have to be prepared to understand and deal with, that have policies in place for students who misuse it away from school, but it has something to do with school or students in my district. The subsequent actions that I would be making sure I take are counseling being available for students who have been bullied online, focus groups for prevention of bullying, tip line and hotline for reports if that was needed, and the biggest thing is consistent monitoring of the use of social media within my building and in my district. Integration and issue prevention. This is something that will have to be multifaceted, and will also have to include all stakeholders to develop a plan to be monitored repeatedly and adjusted as necessary to achieve the maximum effectiveness of that. Some of the things that might include is a detailed acceptable use policy, along with the expectations and the consequences of the use of social media within the school community. I think it should be made up of students, staff, and admin, not just administrators making decisions for the students, because they'll be the ones using it mostly. Using my tech department and understanding the usage history and the data that the tech department can roll from history and minutes spent online and that kind of thing. Staff training is going to be something that will definitely take place when it is necessary. So that is my overall grasp of the details of this module. Thank you.